Hi, welcome to GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. I want to give you a quick review, initial review of a quadcopter, and interestingly it's not the one here. I've just got this. This is my very first sort of quad, and it's the Blade 350QX. Still flies really well today. Not a great platform for video because it hasn't got a gimbal on it. I did try it with a gimbal, but it was a bit too much for it for the battery size. But as a little quad that has the old return to home function and GPS hold, and just for a bit of video, absolutely fine. Really enjoyed it. But as time has gone on, I've got into FPV with my planes. I've just got an Easy Star with an FPV system, very basic, Mobius on a backpack, and really enjoying the FPV experience. And the next level of that for me was wanting to do a bit of proximity flying with a like a racing quad. So that was the next thing. So let's just move that aside and bring in. I'm not going to do an unboxing or anything because this is essentially a ready-to-fly quad. Now, I've been looking for a quad that meets my specifications for a long time. Now, it's a steep learning curve, first of all, so I wanted one that was fairly straightforward. I wanted all the components in together, and that's why I went for this, which is the Nighthawk Pro 280, so slightly bigger than a 250 size, which ideally I'd have liked the 250, but this one came up and it's fine. And the fact that it's a little bit bigger, actually, to start with proximity flying, it's probably a little bit more stable anyway, and it also enables me to use the batteries that I've got most of, which is the 2200 3 cells. So you basically get everything you need with it. It comes with its own transmitter, receiver. It's got the video transmitter, a video camera, a mount for your own recording camera, which I've got a little sort of, this is a SJ4000 mounted on top there. It's got a NAS 32 integrated board. I'll speak a little bit more about that. Comes with the motors and everything. Now, I bought this one second hand, and I've pretty much stripped it down and rebuilt it because I wanted to know how it all worked and make sure it was all working properly. This is my first sort of foray into using this. Uses base flight. I didn't even know what that was, and I've started to get into tuning PIDs and things, and learning what PIDs are and how they affect the model and different things. So really been interesting for, you know, a long time modeler who's proficient in lots of other areas. To be a newbie, it's quite interesting and quite exciting. I've really enjoyed the experience. So if I just run through the copter itself, it's got some really nice EMAX motors, 2204 by 2300 kV, and these are rocking 6x45 props. I'm going to try out some different props, but literally these are absolutely fine. It's because it's a slightly bigger copter, 6-inch props are fine. I am going to try some 3 blades, just because I prefer the look of them, to be honest. These seem to work fine. We've got a really thick, this was the other thing it needed to have, it's got really thick arms. This is, I think it's like a fiberglass stroke carbon fibre composite, but really strong. The arms, you can unbolt them. They're not sort of milled out to within an inch of their life. They look chunky, they look like they'll survive a cartwheel or two. This board here is obviously a lot thinner, but combined with the one on top, it's quite a strong structure. The interesting thing about this quad, and it wasn't something I was too impressed with, to be honest, I would have preferred separate, but the control board is the whole, if I just take off this, that's just a protector. This whole bottom is the board, is the control board. So this has got the ESCs built into it. It's got all your 5-volt outputs built into it. It's got an output for a buzzer, different things. It has a light bar on the back, which I've taken off, like an LED light bar. It's the NAS 32. It's everything all built into one, apart from the receiver that was separate. So if you have an ESC go down, then you need to replace the whole board. I don't know how you would replace an ESC, but if a motor goes, you just put a new motor and just plug it in. So that's sort of okay, but I would have preferred one with separate components. But as a starter quad, I think that's absolutely fine. It comes with these little standoff things, but to me the main board is quite exposed, and this came with it. It looks like a printed sort of thing. You just push on like that and it gives a bit of protection to the bottom. I quite like that. The battery you can put inside, as I've done there, or you can mount it on the top. I don't think it will make a huge bit of difference. To my mind, it lowers the centre of gravity, so it makes sense to have it low in the body. I'm not really sure if that makes any difference or not. I've seen ones which have the battery up here somewhere, so I don't really know that makes a difference. I've added a little low voltage buzzer on there. Just looks quite funky on top. Just plug that into the balance port. And I've also ordered a lost model alarm, just a little 5-volt piezo buzzer, because there is it comes with lots of leads and cables, and one of them is for a buzzer, and then you can activate that using an auxiliary channel on your transmitter. Just set that up in base flight, which I think is really good. If it goes down in long grass and you're FPV, there's a chance you haven't got a clue where it is. So having some sort of lost model alarm, I think, is essential. It's not a luxury on these, it's essential. I actually won't fly it in long grass or over long grass until I get that fitted. I'm waiting for that to arrive. Comes with a 700 TV live board camera, which seems to work fine, and it comes with a straight mount or a 10-degree angled mount. Not much of an angle, and I don't really see any way you can increase that. You could probably fiddle around with some washers and maybe get a little bit more out of it, or you could probably cut the bottom lugs off and yeah, you'd probably get a little bit more angle. But for me, learning, I think that's going to be absolutely fine. And also the mount that the camera, they call it a Mobius mount, but obviously I've just got a little camera on there. If you take the bungs out the back and just velcro it and just cable tie it like I have, or zip tie it, then you get the same angle as your board cam, so that works okay. It came with its own receiver and transmitter. As always, comes with a mode 2 transmitter, and no good for me because I fly mode 1. I did take this apart to see if I could mode change it. Now yes, you could, but you'd have had to take the whole pots out, because when you change the little spring and the little lever, there's 2 little metal pins that you'd have to remove and swap over. And I have done this before on other transmitters, and it's a pain in the arse. It's not really designed to do it. And there is a little 3-pin socket on here that has a jumper across, and it has R and L next to it. And I reckon that means left hand throttle or right hand throttle. So I reckon you could change the jumper and change it, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been able to find anywhere online that tells me whether that is mode changeable technically or not. So and to be honest, let's face it, it's crap. I mean, it's got four AA batteries go in the back. It's cheap, and the gimbals feel alright, but it's really skinny. The switches feel okay. Yeah, there's nothing to it really. I'll probably just take it apart and use it as spares. These are quite nice. So yeah, not really impressed with that at all. So I took that. I thought I might use that. Took the receiver out. I've put. I'm just using my Futaba to see how it goes. I know people say that the latency is better with the Tyrannus and things like that. That is something I'm going to look into in the future. But for me at the moment, this is fine. So I've just put a receiver under there. They nicely give you these little antenna protectors. So my antenna comes through here, one up there and one up there. That works absolutely fantastically. It was a little bit iffy where the battery is in a crash. It's going to slide forward and smash into my receiver, but what I'm going to do is just put a little, probably just a couple of cable ties or something across here to stop that happening. The transmitter is a switchable 200 milliwatt or 20 milliwatt. I don't really understand what the difference is. I don't know why you'd want to use 20 milliwatt when you've got 200 available. I don't really understand it. All I know is I plugged it in, turned my goggles on, which I've been using for my FPV plane, and the image was there. It was on the right channel and everything. I haven't had to do anything, so that was brilliant in my opinion. So to the first flight, I have hovered it. And I will get some footage of it for a later video, but I have hovered it, and by setting it up, you know, exactly as it says on the internet and the instructions, absolutely fine. It has like an auto level, 2 auto level modes. One, it sort of limits it how much it can bank, and the other one, it's unlimited but it's still auto level, so you could flip it and it will still auto level. And then you've got the one that I sort of got to use, which is it's just got no auto level or anything, and it hovered lovely. My initial feeling was it was a bit mushy, especially on the yaw. It was very slow. I'm used to flying, I've got a 550 size helicopter T-Rex, and also the Blade 360 helicopter, so I'm used to having quite a sensitive tail. I don't know how that will relate to flying FPV, so I've increased the rates on the yaw. But other than that, it flew lovely, nice and stable. Seems to have plenty of power on a 3-cell. I did a little punch out, and so I haven't got any specific batteries for this yet. I'm going to get some graphene ones, but yeah, it seemed to fly absolutely lovely. It did what it says on the tin, really. So far, so good. I didn't have a spotter with me, so I couldn't really do too much FPV. I've had a little go, and it was fine. The only other modification I've done is round the back here. It's got a built-in XT60, which is fine, but all my batteries have got Deans on, and I haven't got around to changing them all. And to be honest, I've got no reason to change. I have no problem. So I just made a little adapter. I just soldered a Deans to an XT60, plugged it in, and that's permanently in there. So I just plug my lead into the Deans, and that works absolutely fine. No problems at all. A word of warning: never, ever, ever plug this into your computer or do any setup indoors with the propellers on. I was adhering to that until last night when I was a bit tired and thought, oh, I just want to change something. I watched a video and I want to change one of the PIDs. So I plugged it in and stupidly plugged the battery in. I was fiddling about with it, and at some point I managed to arm it. And then, silly bollocks as he is, went like that. And oh my God, it was just in my lounge on my little coffee table sort of thing. And it was just like, for a moment, I just sat there and went, oh my God, what's happened? Because it sort of went, wow, and I slammed it straight back down again. And luckily, I didn't do too much damage. I broke a prop and sent lots of things flying around, gave the dogs a bit of a heart attack. But other than that, all is well. So do not do any setup with the propellers on. Take them off, and all is good. So I'll keep you posted on my progress and how this flies FPV in a future video or future videos. But for now, this is GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions, with the Nighthawk 250 Pro. I see 280 Pro. Get it right. It's this. See you soon. Bye.